Greetings, loved ones. A sexual predator is a person who seeks out sexual contact with another person or child in a predatory or abusive manner, and people who are sexual predators may or may not have committed sex crimes like sexual harassment, assault, rape, and pedophilia. But all sexual predators have sought out inappropriate contact in one way or another. Today, we are going to talk about the signs of a sexual predator. Help us get these messages out. Please subscribe to our channel. Follow us on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter. Hit the like button and the notification bell, and please share these messages with others. You could save a life. So, what is a sexual predator? A sexual predator is a person who seeks out sexual contact with another person or child in a predatory or abusive manner. People who are sexual predators may or may not have committed sex crimes like sexual harassment, assault, rape, and pedophilia. But all sexual predators have sought out inappropriate contact in one way or another, and those who exploit others in a sexual manner may not just be seeking sex. Rather, they see sex as a form of dominance and control. While some sexual predators attempt to exploit adult victims, many are child sexual predators. These abusers have a distinct sexual preference for children. They look for minors, typically prepubescent before puberty, and will build trust with their victim as a form of grooming. And approximately 96% of child sexual abuse perpetrators are male. About 90% of children who are sexually abused report that their perpetrator was somebody they already knew and trusted. So let's talk about signs of a sexual predator. Knowing how to identify the signs of sexual abuse and predatory behavior can help stop the abuse as soon as possible or before any more harm can be done. Not all these warnings indicate sexual abuse. However, they can act as a red flag for abusive and possibly sexually predatory behavior. So let's discuss this. Number one, associating with children. A sexual predator with a particular interest in children may show a preference for associating with grade school, middle school, or high school age children. They may have few friendships of their own, especially of their own age, and have unusually close friendships with children. In addition to spending a lot of time around children, they might also engage in inappropriate behaviors. For example, they may show an unusual interest in physical play with a child, like wrestling, tickling, kissing, or hugging. Number two, creating dependency. A sexual predator may begin manipulating their chosen victim to create dependency and intimacy. In the beginning, they may be very attentive, showering the individual with gifts, praise, phone calls, and texts. This creates a feeling in the victim that the perpetrator has a special bond with them. The victim may feel that the perpetrator can provide something nobody else can, and that they are the only person who truly understands, respects, and cares for the victim. This builds loyalty and vulnerability, which the sexual predator can then use to their advantage. Number three, using manipulative language. You may notice a potential sexual predator using manipulative language. They may insult or mock the victim on their behavior, appearance, clothes, friends, or other parts of their personal life. When challenged on this behavior, they may lie and twist the information, making the victim feel as though they are at fault. They may repeatedly focus on their own feelings to make the victim feel guilty for hurting them. And some predators may also engage in gaslighting. Gaslighting is a form of emotional abuse where the perpetrator makes a person question their thoughts, memories, and events they have experienced. The goal of gaslighting is to force the victim to question their own memory or even their sanity in favor of the abuser's version of events. Number 4, pushing physical and sexual boundaries. Sexual predators may push past healthy boundaries, and this behavior may begin with seemingly innocent touches on the back, hand, or leg. But it may escalate into inappropriate touching on the thigh, near the genitals, on the breasts, or even fondling without the person's consent. If the predator is already in a relationship with the victim, they may cross pre-established boundaries or fail to ask for consent. They may use manipulation to push the person to carry out tasks they are not comfortable with. For children, this can look like rubbing the child's leg, drying them off with a towel, changing their clothes, hugging or cuddling. This may then escalate to more sexual behavior. Before doing so, the predator may introduce and normalize ideas of sex to the child. By talking to the child about sex, making suggestive jokes, showing them pornography, or encouraging them to be naked together, they may be able to introduce sexual activity by telling the child it's a game. Number 5, expressing jealousy and controlling behavior. In many cases, the sexual predator may be jealous and controlling around friends, family members, and other romantic interests. They may monitor the victim's social media activity, personal life, and day-to-day activities. This can be taken a step further to the point where the predator becomes controlling. They may seek to limit the victim's contact with others, especially those of the opposite sex. So let's talk about dealing with sexual predators. In some cases, these warning signs can be innocent. Others may be signs of emotional or physical abuse, but not sexual abuse. However, if you strongly suspect someone you know may be a sexual predator or may be a victim of a sexual predator, you should report it immediately to the police and or the Department of Child Services in your state. Other organizations like the RAIN National Sexual Assault Hotline or the National Sexual Violence Resource Center can help direct you towards immediate assistance as well as resources and support for survivors. Once a sexual predator has been investigated and found to be guilty of sexual offenses, they may enter treatment to discourage the behavior. Treatment for sexual predators has been a source of debate for decades, but offenders can lead productive and offensive-free lives after treatment. One study found that sex offenders were less likely to go back to prison for the same offense than others in the general criminal population. Types of treatment can include the following: cognitive behavioral therapy, hormonal medication, therapeutic communities, psychotherapy and counseling, medical castration. According to the CDC, over half of all the children in the world, that's 1 billion children ages 2 to 17, experience violence every year. The question is not if you'll encounter a victim of violence. The question before God is, what will you do when you do encounter them? You could be the person who saves a life. Micah 6:8 says, He has showed you, O man, what is good. And what does the Lord require of you? To do justice, love mercy, and walk humbly with your God. You are called. We are all called to be champions for justice. There is a way out. It is not your fault. Abuse is not love. You are not alone. If you're suffering violence, reach out to someone today. If you find yourself in a dangerous situation, call 911 for help. If you know of a child or other person suffering violence, tell the authorities. In our next episode, we will talk about what to do if you suspect a child is being harmed. Until then, God bless you.